Hello everyone, it's Janki and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be deciding the books I'll be reading in the month of May, which is my May TBR, and for this TBR I thought we'll play a virtual game of spin the wheel. So we'll have 8 books on this spinning wheel, out of which we'll select 4, and let's see which all books do we have on the spinning wheel. So the first book we have is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. It's a fantasy book. The next book we have is True Colors by Kristen Hanna, which is a historical fiction. Then we have The Story of the Silence by Alex Myers. It's historical fiction. No, it's a historical fantasy. Then we have, I'm betting my luck on this book, which is Eid Prey Love. It's a memoir. I don't usually read non-fiction and memoirs, so this book is just to spice the things up. Nextly we have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. It's a YA fantasy. The next book we have is We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal, which is the second book in the Sands of Arabia series, and it is again a YA fantasy. Then we have The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson, a thriller. And lastly, we have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which is again a thriller. So let's spin the wheel now. So as it is visible to you, I have mentioned all these 8 books in this spinning wheel, and let's have our first spin. So the first book I'll be reading is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. Let's have the second spin. I will never ever bet on my luck again. The next book I have is Eid Prey Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Our third spin. Which is True Colors by Kristen Hanna. And our last book now. The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. So those are the 4 books I'll be definitely reading in the month of May. And let's get to know a little about these books now. So firstly, we have True Colors, and the synopsis of True Colors reads, The Grey sisters have always looked after one another. Growing up on a sprawling ranch with an emotionally distant father, they had nowhere else to turn after their mother died. Winova, the oldest, craves for her father's approval. Happier reading a book than riding a horse, she knows she isn't the daughter he wanted, but she's determined to prove her worth. Aurora is the peacemaker, trying to keep everyone happy whilst hiding her own feeling. Vivienne, the youngest, is the star of the family. Beautiful and spirited, everything comes easily to her. Until a stranger arrives in town, Vivienne, when makes the fateful decision to follow her heart, everything changes. Suddenly the sisters are pitted against one another, loyalties are tested, secrets revealed, and then a terrible crime threatens to tear the whole community apart. Sounds like trademark Kristen Hanna book with female characters and female point of views. So yes, this is our first book. Next we have Eid Prey Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. The synopsis of which reads, Elizabeth is in her 30s, settled in a large house with a husband who wants to start a family, but she doesn't want any of it. A bitter divorce and a rebound fling later, Elizabeth emerges battered yet determined to find what she's been missing. So begins her quest. In Rome, she indulges herself and gains nearly 2 stone. In India, she finds enlightenment through scrubbing temple floors. Finally, in Bali, a toothless medicine man reveals a new path to peace, leaving her ready to love again. I personally don't have much to say about this book. It's a memoir. Now let's see if I love it or not. It will be my first memoir. I haven't read any before, so let's see. The next book we have is Sorcery of Thorns, and the synopsis of it reads, all sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she has known anything. Raised as a foundling in one of Ostermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among the tools of sorcery, magical grimoires that whisper on shelves and rattle beneath iron chains. If provoked, they transform into grotesque monsters of ink and leather. She hopes to become a warden charged with protecting the kingdom from their power. Then an act of sabotage releases the library's most strangest grimoire. Elizabeth's desperate intervention implicates her in the crime, and she is torn from her home to face justice in the capital. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious demonic servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world along with them. That sounds a promising premise. I really look forward to reading this book, Sorcery of Thorns. I think I'll like it. And our last book of the day, last book, not of the day, The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. So the premise reads, a devious tale of psychological suspense involving sex, deception, and an accidental encounter that leads to murder. On a night flight from London to Boston, Ted Severson meets the stunning and mysterious Lily Kintner. Sharing one too many martinis, the strangers begin to play a game of truth, revealing very intimate details about themselves. Ted talks about his marriage that's going stale and his wife Miranda, who he's sure is cheating on him. Ted and his wife were a mismatch from the start. He, the rich businessman, she, the artistic free spirit. A contrast that once inflamed their passion but now has become a cliche. But their game turns a little darker when Ted jokes that he could kill Miranda for what she's done. Lily, without missing a beat, says calmly, I'd like to help you. After all, some people are the kind worth killing. Like a lying, stinking, cheating spouse. Back in Boston, Ted and Lily's twisted bond grows stronger as they begin to plot Miranda's demise. But there are a few things about Lily's past that she hasn't shared with Ted, namely her experience in the art and craft of murder. A journey that began in her very precocious youth. Suddenly, these co-conspirators are embroiled in a chilling game of cat and mouse, one they both cannot survive, with a shrewd and very determined detective on the trail. I like this synopsis. I'm sure Lily is some far off relative of Miranda. Okay, so yes, that was the last book. So, those are the 4 books I am about to read in the month of May, and any additional book if I have time to. So, looking forward to all those 4 books, and yes, that was all for this video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment. I'll be happy if you do so. So, yes, thank you until next time.